Hey, YouTube. Hey, one person. Anywho, I'm gonna wait a few more minutes until some more people come on. So you see that I have that thumbnail up. So I'm improving a little bit in trying to give out some quality videos. Now I know this is a live stream, but I said I was gonna start creating more videos by not videotaping, recording it, and doing some short videos. My little subscribership is starting to increase just a little bit. Hey Sam Marks, where you been? It's been a while. Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I know y'all get tired of hearing me bitch and complain about stuff, you know, but yes, it's well deserved. And this is my first try applying as the tax expert team lead. So it's mine's for the takings. But so the tax deadline extension ended Monday. No, it's VTO. It is VTO. I sure do mean that. Personal time. I don't have no personal time. I have no personal time. That's zero. I have 10 hours of unpaid leave. So, and then I have 20 almost 30 hours of vacation. So, basically, um they already did the vacation freeze from when did the stupid things start? Well, yeah, but that's true. See, unpaid time you could max out at dang it, what the hell is it? 80 hours. So if you have 80 hours of unpaid time, it does not carry over. That means that's it. So unpaid time and personal time can be used now that they have this vacation freeze from um I can't remember what the hell the thing was. Put it this way, it's like it starts sometime in November, the 16th, something like that. Like November 16th until December 24th, you cannot take no vacation. If you need to take time off between the holiday freeze, you either have to use unpaid time or personal time. Since personal time, I already used up my personal time because I thought you accumulate. They give you the personal time of 36 hours or something like that for the type of schedule that I have, which is um, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 12 hours or 36 hours, which is reduced time. So I don't know. It's so funny at Amazon how they do things. It's ridiculous. So if you don't use your personal time, so say the personal PTO, say I had PTO on the books. They don't carry over PTO. Either they give you 30 something hours of PTO time and you have until the end of December 31st to use them. If you don't use them, you lose them. So I said, shoo, ain't no point in me accumulating all that PTO personal time. And when I went on medical leave last year, the day after Thanksgiving, I had personal time, I had unpaid time, and I had vacation time accumulated. I never took no vacation time in all the time I've been at Amazon, but I did take that unpaid time. No, I accumulated that till I came back in March sometime. So I didn't think they was going to approve my medical accommodation. So I said, well, I need to get paid when I was on medical leave. So I used my personal time hours that I had from the previous year, And I never used vacation time, never. And then I've been working at Amazon previous years before. So that unpaid time that I had and that VTO, voluntary time that I had from previous years that I never used, I lost it. I was like, what the hell? So when I lost that previous times of hours, because y'all remember when I used to work at that Amazon Fresh, when I tell you I had to wear that monkey suit during 2020, I had hours on the books. And because when they saw called let me go and call me back, I had hours on the books. I was like, what the hell? So basically I had a lot of hours. So I had used up all the hours that I had. What the hell? Who I'm gonna get, Charlie? Charlie, where the hell you at? Get that cat. So anyway, so basically I had used up my time while I was waiting for my medical accommodation. And, so I said, never again. Because now, if I did not come back in March and I decided to say, you know what, it ain't worth it, they wouldn't have paid me for those. They wouldn't have paid me for all those hours that I had accumulated. So unpaid time off is basically what it is, unpaid time. But that BTO and the vacation, they would not have paid me for it unless I used it. So it's like if I was to leave and I had 30 something hours of vacation and I say I'm leaving, they're not going to pay me in a check for the vacation time. So I said, if I might as well use up all those hours before I leave. I would never keep him like that. So yeah, I did need it. I needed it for sure. That personal time, when I took it, I had surely needed it because it's like it's hard to work 3, 4, 5 months in a row with no break. That don't make no sense for me. So, I kind of use mine sparingly, but when I took 1 day or 2 days during the week during these few months, and I took 2 days, that wiped out all that. That thing wipes out because I work a 12-hour day. So if I took 2 days, that's 24 hours. That's 24 hours come straight out of the personal time, and it could dwindle down to nearly nothing. So next thing you know, I took personal time what 3 times? One, two, yep, 3 times in these months, and all the personal time was gone, zero. And I was like, why is it still zero? Well, I thought this thing said you're going to get so many hours, and I had to So when I went to HR and I said, they explained it to me. They said you only get 36 hours of personal time. So 3 days of personal time in a 7-month period, that's gone. Boom. And same thing with vacation. Because I work a 12-hour shift, I take 2 days for vacation. That's 24. That means it's like you got to work a long time for months to get anything. It's like you almost have to work a goddamn whole year with no break, no nothing to see anything. That don't make no sense. That's one thing about it. When you work 12 hours and you just take 1 day, it's like it's like you have to work 3 months, 4 months to get anything, to move anything. And then, like I said, unpaid time, you could take unpaid time, but if you go below zero or you get to zero, you automatically fired. The system fires you, basically. The system would be like, oops, she got no zero unpaid time. Regardless how much work you do, regardless if you're a good employee, regardless if you've been to work months, and then something happens out of your control, you're gonna have to use unpaid time, or you have to wish and pray they got VTO. So basically, when I go to work, if they got VTO, they'll come up to me. You want VTO? I said sure. I've taken, y'all know me. I've taken VTO since I've been working closer to my house, 5 minutes away. I've taken more VTO time like it's nothing. And y'all know, especially last year before I went on medical leave, I was taking VTO like it was nothing. But when I had to work an hour away from my house in Brazelton, yeah, I figured, you know what? It took me 50 minutes to get to work. I'm not taking VTO. And after I drove that long distance, oh, I do have a remote job. That's what TurboTax is. TurboTax is remote. I work straight from home at TurboTax. So I do work remote when I have that TurboTax. So um, I go back to work for TurboTax because last Monday was the tax deadline. So last Saturday when I worked for 4 hours, I didn't get no calls, I didn't get no chat. I just, that was the last day. Well, Sunday was the last day. And then everyone had to go on hibernation. So they tell you to keep the computer, and everyone will be going back January the 11th. And that's when they tell us to make sure you turn the computer on and make it update. So, but because when I got promoted, my training for tax expert team lead, the training is going to be December the 8th. No, December the 11th. So I don't know how the training is, but I assume it's going to be quite several weeks. It's not something that's going to be short. And then they said they have a stack schedule. So that means that I'll be having a new manager. I'll be in a different area, department. I won't be taking calls from customers anymore unless they get busy, which I'm quite sure they will. And then they say, "Oh, you could go on the phone, or I work overtime, and I could be on the phone and help customers like I've always done." But I will be helping coworkers, managers, or people from other departments when they say I have a question. So that's what I'll be doing. But I'll let y'all know how that goes. But I am looking forward to doing it. I was like, thank goodness. And then they told me what the pay was. I was like, and the bonus. Ooh. So, but they still hiring y'all. If y'all ain't, I don't know why no one has not sent me any emails, but let me put my email in the chat. I don't know why. I mean, I did submit the resume, or not resume. I did send the referral link to the recruiter for those who was expressing interest in the tax tax assistant role. That's a new role they created last year. You don't have to be a full service doing taxes or doing answering questions on the phone or chat, but you welcome the customers in, and then you just kind of route them to either a tax expert or full service. You're not answering the tax questions. You're not doing tax return forms or nothing. You basically like the person who will direct the customers to where they need to go. And that's something they created. I never was like, I said, I don't know why they're doing that. I don't think that's effective, but I guess, that's how they're going to do it. And so I know they need people for that position because TurboTax, unlike a lot of companies out there, even though even though it's seasonal, you may work like middle of January, late April, maybe May, depending on if anything happens. They'll call you back to work during the summer from like August to October. And then so you may work a few months, but if it's anything like last year, they were swamped, they were busy. it was like ridiculous. They need to hire. They were like 10. Oh, how many shortages? 7, 8, 6, 7, 8,000 people. TurboTax is hiring because they are. Yes, it's remote, Sam. It is remote. Unlike the new position that I'm having, I have to choose a schedule. So I don't know what the details is about it. They told me you don't, you know, either you're gonna have Monday, Tuesday off or Sunday off or whatever. So they'll tell me and then I choose a schedule. But when you are tax examiner, CPA, tax expert, you choose your schedule whenever you want to work. Now, the time frames is 8 a.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. They do follow the Pacific time. So I think because they in California, then Pacific time would be um say it's 9 o'clock California time or Pacific time. That's what time they close on the West Coast. So that means they are 6 6 to 9, whatever it is. But put it this way: you make your own schedule, and when tax season start, basically they're gonna be from 8 to midnight, 7 days a week. So, but they were swamped last year. They were so swamped. They was kind of if you work some number of hours on the weekend, we'll give you um some spotlight rewards to get the gift cards. Boy, did I rack up on those gift cards. You know, I still have $1,000 worth of gift cards that I have to still use. Okay. Well, give me the thumbs ups. I would appreciate it. Thumbs ups. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And then, hey, Shelly Show. But anyway, with Amazon, I took VTO tomorrow. Even though I told them I'm not going to take VTO coming, I'm gonna work all of my schedule. They say, yeah, right. So they were like, yeah, right, because they know me. VTO's offered to I'm taking it because I got too many things to do. Now I do need the money. Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to say, oh, I got it going on where I don't have to work, but I do have my money saved up. But at the same time, I'm always doing something. Like I did survey.com today. Even though I didn't do all the stores, I did two. One was $20 an hour. It took me an hour to take pictures at the Walmart on that Red Bull. Then the other one was checking some not pickles. What do you call it? Pickles, relish, something like that. One of the on the shelf. Taking pictures, checking the price. That was like $8. And I was taking a little break from survey.com and field agent and observer and some of the other little gigs I'd be doing because I was working at TurboTax from home, even though I didn't work a lot of hours, but I was working between me working at Amazon and doing um, TurboTax. It kind of, I kind of, yeah, I got to be productive some way. And trust me, everybody's going to need to be productive from this upcoming um, recession. That's what I'm going to talk about because it's not a negative thing, but it's not with all this economic inflation and all this possibilities of companies laying people off and people may think I'm gonna do the gig work, I'm gonna do Uber and I'm gonna do this. You don't think that people's gonna be mindful about the groceries they're gonna be buying? And people think that's not gonna affect them? You know? Yeah, it's already here. But you can't tell some of these people, someone at work that I was telling you last week, you know what I'm talking about? It depends on who you listen to. I ain't trying to be negative. I said, oh shit, just sit down and have a seat. People don't even understand, especially the ones who's like in their 20s now. No sense, clueless like hell. Exactly. It's tied to a lot of discretionary spending, and it's also going to be tied to the um, stores you go to. These stores, they're not going to have a bunch of products on the shelf and things of that nature. Yeah, they don't. The thing about it, they don't know, but they may not know, but they argue. They're gonna argue about it. That ain't true. Okay, what world do you live in? Think about that ain't true. That ain't true. That's just putting that out there in the news. I was like, oh Jesus Christ! How you gonna tell me that ain't? Talking about I'm gonna buy me a castle. I know that may be. I don't know if they figuratively speaking that, but I look for a man who's gonna surprise. I said, girl, y'all about to close your legs and stop looking for a man you think they're gonna supposed to support you. Ain't nobody want nobody to be. Ain't no man gonna sit up there thinking you gonna sit on your ass and don't do nothing. And you think you're gonna wait for a man to do it for you. I said, man, y'all just as silly. Exactly. I told them, I said, you ain't nobody looking. I said, y'all delusional. Some of these men are delusional too. They delusional. Cause remember I told you I was watching those different YouTube videos where the ones I was telling you about, that channel I was watching. He's based in Austin, and people calling about they in debt. Hey Brooklyn, and I was watching it. I was like, oh my god. Every person about, well, um, I have a checking and savings account, and they took money from the savings account, transferring over to cover the checking and overdraft, and it was a whole. Exactly. It was like, I said, what the hell? And that's, y'all see, it's like a lot of but it's this channel I watch, and the Dave Ramsey, you know, um, but the other one, but this is an older channel, not older. You know what I'm talking about. I know Brooklyn, you know what I'm talking about. We've talked about the two videos, but this one, she was a Canadian woman, financial planner, and she would go to people for married couples, and they would be like, money, 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 money. Um, but it was 10 years ago when she did that show. And it was like 10 years ago. It was more than 10 years, like 10, 11 years ago. These people were in married couple in Canada, broke to the broke Gale. Yep. Brooklyn, if you can find that station, not station, that channel with the ones I was talking to you about, that guy, he'd be like, oh my God, if you could put that in the link for me, and y'all could look at that video, but those are the two main ones that I was looking at, and I was like, man, when did this come out? But it was 12 years ago for the lady, and Till Death Do Us Part. Yep, she was based in Canada, and that was 10, 11 years ago. And I was like, I said, dang, the recession and issues were bad then, and this was in Canada. But these people were, I mean, these were married couples, and they may show a single person, but she also made another show too. And it wasn't as bad as compared to what's going on now. But yep, you sure am. You can look at those shows and search it, but those are the ones I've been watching. And then the one, that one with the hammer, Caleb Hammer. That's his name. He's he's not as financially suave in terms of helping the people who come on the show. because he's more like going over their checking account, and then he says, "Oh, well, you spent," and he's a little bit too nice. I said, "Man, I was watching one today. These two girls, they was like, oh, we gotta spend about money because I said these are spoiled, rich white girls who got daddy's money, and no, we ain't got no stealing on that. But my father, he leases the cars and we drive the lease. I said, see, that means they got money. Well, I'm gonna graduate in a minor. My major is in some writing. It's writing. One person was something, I don't know. There was a bunch of BS majors, I know that. And oh, are you gonna go to graduate school? Well, I don't know. And you're gonna have debt when you go, no, we're not gonna really do that. Well, how do they were rich. I said, why he interviewed, and there was two of them on the street. It was in Austin. So I said, these two particular people, they ain't got no financial problems. I said, they privileged and they got money. You know, it was today on one of the things I was listening to. And I was like, but otherwise, the previous people he got on the shows, oh, they're ridiculous. They are so ridiculous. You know, had no kind of nothing about nothing. Who buys Uber Eats and Grubhub 3-4 times a day and ain't got no money and all an overdraft checking account? And I was like, he was having a headache, and while I was watching it, I was getting this headache too. I was like, oh my god. Well, I didn't. Well, a savings account, I treated like a checking account. I was like, oh, really? No, it was ridiculous. But I talked about that last week because that was on my little rant. But those people were ridiculous. And I said to myself, you know what? I should do me a channel like that too. But I don't want to speak to people from nowhere and go over their finances. I don't want to, but I will do something about I will be discussing about taxes and upcoming tax changes, how it relates to gig workers. But I'm not going to preach no more about these estimated tax payments one is required to pay and record keeping, because the more and more I say it, the more and more I said it in the past, the more and more people are going to do what they want to do. So for those who legitimately wants help, needs my help, or would like for me to discuss topics, especially when we get closer to the year, I'll be glad to go over it. I would be suspect of DoorDash. Shoot, man, you wouldn't. I have not bought no stock in no damn Uber and no damn DoorDash. Nope. I bought me some stocks and other things that's down all across the board. Stocks has been down, but see, you have to understand. Um, you have to understand market shares and things like that. You buy things when it's low because it's never going to go down forever. But Uber Eats, Grubhub, and all those stocks, yeah, you can buy it now when it's low. But when they first came out, it never did go up anything. If anything, when they first came out, that thing dropped down and stayed dropped down. They never went. Nobody made no money in those Uber Eats and Grubhub stocks or DoorDash. I know. I looked at mine yesterday. It's down 8%. But see, my thrift savings account, which is a federal 401k, I bought into the L funds, and the L funds will adjust according to the market going up and down. So I did good on that. So I'm not really worried about it. It did go down some, trust me. When it was 90,000 plus dollars, and now I looked at it, says 87,000. I was like, oh my God. But I see I can't be I can't stress myself. I don't look at that every day. I have a 401k with TurboTax and I have one through Amazon. But when I started looking at the projections, see, I have a good 11 years Even if I wait till I'm 59 and a half, I could still cash out. But let me give you what I think is going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. We're going to see what's going to happen 2 weeks from now with the midterm elections and how it's going to shift. If I don't, Biden is not going to be elected again. He's not going to be a second term. No way, no how. I compare him to what Jimmy Carter went through in the 70s. He was everybody was like, oh, Jimmy Carter, because they were trying to get rid of that damn crooked Nixon, and if Nixon never resigned after the Watergate scandal, if he was like Trump and never, and he didn't have people, had people who followed Trump, and and Nixon never stepped down, because even if you got impeached, you know that being impeachment doesn't mean you get removed from office. That's just a charge. So say he never, it always makes you wonder, what if he didn't resign and he still stayed on as president? What would happen? There's always these scenarios in life that we go through. What if this happened? What if you didn't wake up? What if you were 5 minutes late getting up, but yet if you got there on time and you passed by a major bad accident. So it's always something that happens. But let's say Nixon didn't step down. He continued, because I don't know. I was a young girl, so I was born in 1968. So I can't personally tell you what happened. I can only go by what I read in history and what I, if you read history and see what happened then. I didn't live through it to the point to give an analysis. But it always made me wonder that if Nixon stayed, he got elected, Johnson didn't take over. At the time we went through the 70s, the mid 70s, when it was a major blackout in New York, price of gas was off the chain. 40 years inflation, they say it was highest since 40-year inflation. No, it was bad. If you really look at history, look at the old things and stuff, things were really, was not that good. It was really bad. I heard that the way how things were, it wasn't great. And then the gold standard, the United States, the dollar was taken off the gold standard by Nixon. Even though it wasn't permanent, it was really temporary, and it's still temporary. But let's say he said, "Oh, I'm going to take out the gold standard." What would have happened if he didn't leave and he continued on being president? The war in Vietnam would have ended like it would have. They would have, if he stood his ground in sense of staying as a president, they probably would have had another Republican president. Jimmy Carter most likely would never have been elected. Let's say Jimmy Carter was never elected. The issues in Iran, Iraq wars, and all that, whatever, all the world power of the United States would have stood stronger, in my opinion. Because the reason why people could be yapping about, oh, liberal, you liberal, progressive, whatever, they would have been, I think things would have been a little bit different. But when Jimmy Carter became president, he really took on a lot of things from previous administration. He really did, Because I remember my grandfather, he was like that peanut eating or whatever he's saying. My grandfather was a Republican. Most black folks were Republicans, not the same Republicans as they are now. Martin Luther King was Republican, and a lot of people, black folks, were Republicans. So all that liberal things of whatever, and they, it's always not been tolerated. Put it that way. The United States wouldn't have allowed Iran to push them. They wouldn't allow the control of oil, you know, OPEC, all of that stuff. Basically, United States lost, started losing its power. Now, I don't know. I can't say, oh, it started in the 70s. It probably, in the 50s, they were saying how things were great, even though they had some racial issues and things of that nature, and civil rights and stuff for that matter. But that's a whole different topic. I just felt that, black folks started to integrate and wanted things. That's when we lost our economic strength and power as black people. Because we wanted to be integrated. They wanted to be together. If they had their own thing, had their own businesses, had their own communities, it was striving. It was very striving in these big cities, Detroit and Atlanta. They had they had a middle class. They had to worry about, wanting equal but separate. Now, I'm not saying that it was all great, but you could see during that time, black folks didn't suffer financially in all those areas. I'm not saying it was not discrimination or whatever, but they did not suffer as much when they had 50. You look at the 50s and you see the family, you ain't had a whole bunch of single mothers and all this brokenness that occurred. I don't, when I could say when did that first start? I don't know. I have to think about it. But if Jimmy Carter, he was going through a lot. People was like, oh, get rid of him. He was good. He was a good man. But in terms of him being a president, he was the governor of Georgia, and he was made more liberal, and he became president. But you see, during that time, his presidency, inflation, gas prices, major cities were being burnt down to the ground. All of that was in the late 60s it started, but it was the 70s. New York was broke. I remember as a little girl, my parents, they lived in the, I wouldn't say projects, but I remember my parents, they lived in an apartment complex thing type. It wasn't a complex, but it was torn down. And then we moved from the South Bronx to East Bronx, and then I had uncles and stuff. They all lived together. They all lived in the same area, Grand Concourse and stuff, and they saw poverty in the Bronx. Was one of the poverty stricken, the war on poverty and Great Society from the 60s. We didn't learn the lesson from exactly. Exactly. So I remember as a little girl, we didn't. I didn't say, oh, we was poor. My parents, we didn't portray ourselves to being poor. We didn't have government assistance. We didn't get food stamps, and if they did, I didn't know. But they worked, went to school, bettered themselves, things like that. It was more black folks in particular was more communal. We stuck together. Even though I'm quite sure my parents, when they were young, they struggled. Me and my sisters, I was raised the most in South Carolina by my grandparents from a baby till I was like 6 years old. But, we had community of aunts, uncles, people stood together. They took care of each other. There was no such thing as I ain't got no paid child care, and and all this stuff didn't exist like that. But you never heard of single mothers, and even if they were single, because they were single parents, single mothers in particular, because a lot of the men, they either went to Vietnam, they got killed in Vietnam. Um, it was a whole lot of things, but it wasn't so ridiculous as it is now. Young people, even my generation, people. living on Section 8 housing. They didn't want nothing. They didn't want nothing better. They didn't want to live on the government dime and walk around. They ain't got nothing. The men were like, well, I mean, there was always been some poverty stricken things, but I felt that if that did happen, it wasn't so obvious, it wasn't so prevalent in the community. But but as I said, Jimmy Carter is just like what Biden is going through. You know, the same thing. Jimmy Carter, he may say, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to resolve this. I'm going to handle this matter. I'm going to do it." Uh, they was like, "Nope." And I'm not sure. I'm quite sure that he relied on the black vote to vote to keep him in, um, to be, continue his presidency, but it didn't work. The only reason why only reason why he became governor of Georgia. Now I didn't live in Atlanta, but I did have relatives who used to live in Atlanta because see, Mayor Jackson and Andrew Young and a lot of black businesses was coming about in Atlanta, and he became governor. I'm quite sure it was because of the black folks and support. I agree. Jimmy Carter was a good man, and he was a not he was. Yeah, he was. He wanted to come into Washington as kumbaya. We're gonna work together. We're gonna get the black people, and we're gonna have white folks, and this is gonna be like this. You had a dream, you know. You had a dream, and I'm quite sure that see people ain't going back that far. They want to stop. They want to stop at Obama, like these little Republicans and stuff. Oh, his first year in office, the tables got turned from Democrat to Republican, and he was the most popular president and got a higher rating than Biden. And people predicting that the same thing gonna happen to Biden would happen to Obama. I said, you know what? All these people still in that damn belief about stolen elections from Trump. I was like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing that. But see, I don't know. It's like, see what the difference is? Nixon did whatever he did with Watergate, and I don't really understand Watergate. I still don't understand the whole thing. I don't, I say he uh, broke into the congressional somewhere, broke into some office or something. I was like, but I said, I'm not saying that's not a crime, but I don't understand. I never really truly understand what exactly happened. Now, maybe I'll watch some documentaries again. Maybe I'll watch documentary about it. But I haven't really watched anything, or no one has not really made anything of it. They just say, oh, he's a disgrace. Even when he died, he didn't even get the respect of government clothes. Let's lower the flag. Because I know when Reagan passed away and somebody else passed away, it was we were closed. Oh, all federal employees, we closed, you getting paid. That was it. I do remember that because my uncle was like, "You off again? Y'all just had a holiday for this holiday because when January come, those federal holidays is like back to back to back. President's Day, this day, that day. Then it turned around when that president died, we closed too. Oops, would you retract it, Sam? Let me see. See what you wrote. I'm gonna add you as a moderator. I like you, Sam. You can control. Uh-oh. Here it is. It's gonna get rough. I know that. Shoot. It's gonna be real rough. I don't think it makes a difference whether you if it's a Democratic or Republican Congress or whatever, because ain't that much that could be done. Ain't that much gonna be done. Biden couldn't pass nothing, extend nothing anyway. Water is wet. Yeah, because when it's all said and done, that economic plan that Biden passed, even though you get $10,000 forgiveness for student loans and 20,000 if you did this or whatever, and I was looking at my damn student loan account, and I was like, oh my god, that little 10,000, 20,000, that's just a drop in a bucket. And then they have people talking about giving if they're going to advance the child tax credit and all this stuff. I was like, even certain things have to. There's something certain things they're going to have to get away with. And they did make it. I was going to talk. I should have showed that. I'll do that another day. I'll do that tomorrow. It's about the tax rates, how they changing it. Yeah. And it's so funny in New York. New York is like a Democratic liberal state in a sense that they, Congress. That other Hispanic girl, what's her name? Cortez or something, whatever. I was watching the video when she was they call her OAC. She was dancing and stuff, and they were saying fake tears. And I was watching that video yesterday or last night, and I was like, they really try. They really. I said, yep, Alexandra or sorry, yep, her. Those Hispanic people came out. They were like, want to, boot her out and vote some other Hispanic woman in. I was like, it ain't gonna make no damn difference. I said, black folks and Hispanic people could have, when they got so, trying to jump on the bandwagon Republican. I don't, I'm not saying the Democrats are any better. Trust and believe, but they really thinking that they trying to just go to Republican. I was like, I'd rather accept people come back as independent and independent parties come forward and start expanding that before anything because she isn't doing any. Yeah, probably so. Like I said, I since I'm no longer a New Yorker in terms of political, I don't really follow up and see what they're doing. But I know one thing: if New York's turn red from blue, even though they say it's purple, but if New York was to switch, that would be very interesting. They're gonna be a battle state too. We lost New York because see, New York, and that northeastern, New Hampshire and all those areas that's always been blue. They trying their best to switch that around, and Georgia has become a topic, a hot state. I don't say hot state, battleground state. New York, it will have a yeah. Mm, I don't know. I don't know. That's hard to say. I doubt it. I doubt it because if people didn't live in New York City, live in those boroughs, they moved upstate if they didn't move out of state. Then the ones who live in the city, Brooklyn, they tend to be more liberal white folks that live there. So I doubt it. They may have individual people that take over depending on where they live. She's not gonna. I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. They're gonna flip it. It ain't that many Republicans, Puerto Ricans, and Hispanic people that's gonna be flip New York. Not that easily. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. Maybe Florida, yeah, I could see that. Florida, I could see it be more Republican considering DeSantis and the Cubans tend to be more conservative because they will say, "Oh, our Hispanic people, we believe in family values and the Bible, and we are conservative." And da. I said, "Shoot, it depends if you're white. If you're a white Hispanic versus a darker skinned Hispanic, that may be so, but I don't think so." I said when I looked at the whole thing, I said when it's all said and done, she's white, even though her race may be white, but her ethnic wise, she's Latina. And yep, the ones in Cuba, Florida, Miami in particular, that's overtaken by Cubans for decades. They always been very conservative. They've always been very conservative. And then the only reason why people are in this big uproar about these changes is because years ago, not years, but not that many years, when I graduated in 1994 from South Carolina, this person was the keynote speaker. I'll never forget. He was the not an editor, but he was like one of those major newspapers in the Southeast, based in Charlotte. He came up, he said, and whatever years he said, the the plight of the white man's going to be something about the plight of the white man going to be undervalued or whatever. I can't remember the words. I remember he said that mess. Everybody in the whole audience went silent. Even the president of the university at the time was like, "That's a very interesting thought," whatever. But basically, what the person was saying was that white men were being discriminated. That's what he said. White men are going to be discriminated against, and the change in demographics is going. Like the white people are going to be the minority, and and this country is going to in the next several years is going to the demographics going to change, where it's going to be predominantly not black but other races, and how white folks are going to lose their power, something like that. He said, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. I said, damn, YouTube and all that stuff wasn't even in existence then, but I remember he said that, and that's the fear. That's the fear that they're having. This thing about voting and all that stuff, that's why they trying to, make it. I said, I don't understand. I said, I don't understand why they're making this voting situation so damn difficult. All you have to do is everybody has a driver's license, everybody have a state ID, and if you move, you just vote. I mean, I don't understand it. Why is it so damn difficult? And then it's always bring about these voter suppression and this and that or whatever. I said, okay, I can understand that could be happening to some extent. But I wrote a paper in undergrad. People were not always voting. All across the board, voter turnout rate has always been low. Always. Regardless of your race, ethnic background, economic background, a lot of people, when you look at the history of voting, not during the Jim Crow and Reconstruction, don't count 1838 or whatever, but in the modern times when there was no restrictions, there was no criminal acts not allowing people to go out to vote, people weren't really out there to vote, period. But this whole issue came into effect was because people are seeing, particularly white people or privileged, who had the power, figured they losing that. So this issue of voting and everything else, that's all has to do with the changing demographics, where the line crosses, whatever. You know, me personally, I always felt we as black folks, we have always, people always assumed that we will always be Democrat, and these politicians always assume they'll be voted on. Even Biden, with that dumb comment he made, and people's feelings about Trump. He always said who he was. He always said who he was, and I don't think it makes a difference who's in control, Republican or Democrat. Black folks always felt, oh man, I can say this black folks, but people of color, black folks, people who don't have any money on it, struggling financially of any race, has never got the good, have never got a stick. I don't know. I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt it. If anything, it's going to get worse, especially when I watch these people on these different on YouTube, and how how they spending money and how carelessly they just, they were like, well, it's life. It is what it is. Oh, like it is what it is. You sit up here talking about it is what it is, and you sit up there, financially broke, you know. And it's not about being broke. It's because people have a lot of opportunities to wake up, learn something new, learn some skills. I think what we're going through now, economically, politically, everything else, all these things is a new era. No, jobs are not going to India. People say, hey, the jobs are going to go to India. Yes, some may, manufacturing, some things may go, but I think even what China's going through now, they losing their strength and power, and the ones who are gaining any type of economic power is the one like India and some of these other countries. It's just a change. Well, I don't know. I can't answer for some of the things that I've been listening to and how people are just. I can't be. There's no way I could be that ignorant and that stupid when they was going over things, and just these crises was going on with retirement. I was looking at that video early this morning, and and they said people are coming out of older people who are due to retire. They were supposed to be retired. They're going back to work. My mother went back to work, not because she was broke, because I think um, people just get bored, and then they realize you have to plan. And a lot of older people. When I say older people, I'm talking about not my age, because I'm not on that retirement wagon yet. But there are a lot of older people. Even when I go to Walmart, when I do my assignments, or Target, or even fast food, I see a lot of older people at these fast food places, restaurants, Walmart. They're working because the Social Security and whatever retirement, some people didn't plan. Some people have money, and then this inflation going up so high, everything became a little, not became a little, became very expensive. It took a loop. That's what they did, raise Social Security for next year with 12% or whatever percentage they gave. But it was a struggle, and a lot of older people cannot survive financially. So their children, which is my aunt's age, age group 70s, they in their late 60s, 70s, they take care of their parents. So that's a struggle, because not only you have to take care of your parents, people try to take care of their parents, but then you have to take care of yourself, and you're not even. And then the younger Gen X, or whatever the hell you want to call them, they just like living off frivolously, like it ain't nothing. And that's why some of them, that's why you see a lot of people, they doing the van life, they living in the car, they traveling, not because they think it's fun and adventurous. I'm gonna tell you now, I think a lot of these people who do that van life and all that kind of stuff, they ain't got no place to go. They're not gonna tell you. They may be doing it for 3 years, or some people may do it for two. But I start seeing a whole lot of people popping up with the van and living in the car, popping up lately. These ain't the ones who's been saying, I got a home, When you really think about it, some of them been doing it for, it seems like it's a long time, but it really hasn't. They already came out financially not able to afford housing, and I start seeing a lot of older people doing it. They moved into the van life and whatever. They ain't doing that just because they want to go around driving around filming and thinking it's fun and okie dokie. Nope, it's not. It is not. So, but in regards to the topic, which I went off topic again, Amazon, even though VTO is not mandatory, that's, if I choose to take it, I'll take it. I just think that as a company that keeps track of everything, machine learning, logistics, algorithms, numbers. Okay, Sams, I appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. It still got 4 of y'all left, so me. But I don't know. I just think, like I said, now there's a threat of the trucking strike. Yeah, I see it tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow night before I go to work at 2 tomorrow morning or day or whatever. So, you know what? I just they're thinking about, not thinking about. They said that the trucking that controls, not trucking, the train rails, they did not negotiate nothing. So sometime, I think they said November 16th or something, if they didn't agree. So now it's a threat that's popping up again about the train rail strikes. So if that happens, that's going to halt a lot of logistics, shipping, and everything. You know, Amazon, they get this. They say they have their own planes to um, bring things in, but it really is affecting items coming. Yeah, there's always gonna be a truck coming in there. They're gonna put whatever, but it's a. I keep telling people at work. I said, "Oh, we busy." I said, "That's not. Y'all don't understand." I'm not saying nothing's not gonna come out of those trucks. Something gonna come up, but they know. Amazon knows everything. And they got these dang people that's so silly walking around with laptop. Hell, black folks ain't know what the hell they doing. They don't understand nothing. They don't understand data. They don't understand algorithms or all they looking about. You ain't doing enough. You only doing 30 cases, but yet, I'm sitting here lifting pounds and pounds. I'm like, I'll do my best, but they don't appreciate me. Put it that way. And I know one of y'all who works, like one of my coworkers or whatever. I'm quite sure y'all watching me or listening to me saying that if you decide to come on, but you know, they say, oh, we overstaffed and we got too many people, and it's a combination of a lot of things. But overstaffing ain't one of them. It's overstaffed in the sense that there's nothing coming in. That's the problem, and I don't understand it. Before they needed to hire people, oh, we ain't got nobody. Please, we hiring. But it was depends on where you are, what department it was. May not be hiring, or they may not have enough people because uh, they basically replacing the ones who left or who had zero unpaid time. So they had to replace the ones who got let go. Now, if they did overstaff, it's because they thinking, oh, it's the holidays and we need to be more people. But then right after Christmas or right after the holidays come, that's when they want to bring that. That's when they're going to really start cracking down about numbers. Oh, you're not doing this. You ain't done your numbers fall below that. And then the system will automatically write you up and give you the paper and saying you on a plan and it's 30 days. And if you don't improve in 30 days, then you go to the next step. And then if you don't, they always do that. When they want to let people, these companies, they need to let people go. They assume that if you start laying off workers, that's going to control and bring the inflation down. I don't think so. You have to go back in history and go back and think about situations that may have happened in the 70s because it may be worse, but we're not going to be 1928, Great Depression. It ain't gonna get to that stage. It ain't gonna get to that point, you know. But it is gonna be a lot of hard times. And during those hard times, we got to, we can't control what the dollar will be because this is a worldwide, this is a worldwide recession. And I think that this worldwide recession of economic downturn is only a matter of shifting of what kind of era we'll be in. We're going to be in an era of machine learning, AI, artificial intelligence. Um, I may not see it in my lifetime, but my great, excuse me, my grandnieces and nephews are the ones who are babies, young children now will see a change. They're gonna be like, "What's this?" They ain't gonna know they're not gonna know what a physical dollar look like. They're not gonna know what coins look like. They're not gonna know a lot of things is not gonna exist. Even the way these cell phones and 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 products and services and even the change in buildings and transportation, all that's gonna change. I know a few years ago, people said about ain't gonna be no automated cars driving by themselves. They're not gonna have nobody delivering food automatically on a drone and all that. People were saying there are a lot of things that ain't gonna exist. But they doing it now. They're working on things like that now. There are a lot of things we don't know about that's in the works until it happens. All this push about automated cars and EV cars and things like that, even the way they built the highways. When they start saying we need to build the infrastructure, highways, and bridges, They're not just patching up. They may be patching up the roads, but all of that's going to be changed. All that's going to be different. Housing, buildings, jobs. That's why I was like, I said, I don't understand these people, you in your early 20s, and have no desire to try to learn technology, IT. Now, I'm not talking about no regular customer service, technical support, calling on the phone. I'm talking about real careers. That's why Amazon um, offers some of these choices in career choice so people could better themselves and learn new skills and take advantage of those new skills. That's why all these learning platforms, all these every time you turn around, they got this they promoting a lot of careers in technology for women, a lot of career technologies, even for ones who are in Ukraine. Amazon offers a program to teach Ukrainian refugees for the Amazon AWS and coding and programming and a whole data science. All these schools, training programs, they offering all these different ways of learning for underprivileged. You know, that's what I did. That's why I took advantage of what I was doing for these last couple of years. Last year I went to this nonprofit organization so I could learn to be software developer to code. Even though I didn't really finish, but because I went back to work at TurboTax, I learned things that I find online, resources to learn, and I'm so glad that I was able to finish Salesforce with the correlation one on behalf of Amazon Career Choice because I know that I said, well, shoot, I have 10, 15 years. No, not even 10. I have what? 11 to 15 more years in the workforce, you know? Even if I did 15 years next month, shoot, that would be 69. Let me see, 15. Yep, 69. I'll be 69. Even if I said, you know what, I'm gonna work till 69 years old. Even if I said I'm gonna work till 65, God willing, if I live to be 69 and I said, you know how, 14 years, 15 years, that's a lot of time. So my investments that I've gone into 15 years, even 12 years, even if we go to an economic downturn in these last year and a half, maybe two, it's always going to go back up. It's going to go back up. But I said, in the meantime, we have to be patient, still buy things when it's cheap, still keep your investments, but for those who are in their 20s and the ones I've been speaking to, they ain't got no money. They ain't did no. I said, did you sign up? Did you sign up for your health insurance? Did you sign up for the 401k? What's that? I said, you don't know what a 401k. Oops. You don't even know what a 401k. Even if you don't know, when you sign up, it pops up every fall. They always pop up. Companies pop up about sign up for health insurance. If they have a 401k, they discuss, they may not physically go over it one by one, but you got your phone. They spend so much time on TikTok and everything else, they don't even read anything. You think anybody knows what that is? You think when I turned 18 and got a real job, not a real job, but that I work at a company and they tell you oh, these are the benefits, and you sit there and that day one training, and they give you all the somebody from the benefits of HR is going to come and talk to you tomorrow, and they give you out the paperwork. Even if you never knew what that was, when the first time you ever go, you going through a company, they'll talk about it. It's on your phone. Amazon may not have no sessions or whatever, because if they got an HR, shoot, they don't be knowing nothing outside shit. But but in general, the information they mail stuff to your house. It's on the phone. If you read it, if you have a question, you could call someone on the phone. They'll explain it. I explained it to a couple people at Amazon, and I didn't, not because they were, you know, you don't know that, because I knew this person particularly. They were young, and it was like they still lived at home with their parents or whatever. So they were asking me about health insurance. Now, this was before they signed up. I said, well, you can't sign up until next year when it's available again. But I said, some of them were on their parents' health insurance or whatever, but they got said, when I tell them, I said, when you get to a certain age, you can't be on your parents' health insurance when you. So they say, okay. So I understood why they may not get it, because you know they don't want to hold, not even talk about taxes either, because some people say, I need all my money. They don't pay no taxes. I said, okay. But but some people, they need 30s, and I don't give no sympathy for that. I was like, I ain't giving you no sympathy. But if you in your 19, 20ish, I could understand. So I'd have a little bit more patience to explain to them. But when you get to 33, 35, 38, 37, and you talking some silliness, I said, no, you too old. They too old to be got that kind of mentality. I can understand people in their 18, 19, not even 21 yet, and they live at home. And I said, they live at home, so they don't really have too much to worry about responsibilities. But I told a couple of people that I said no. They asked me, you think that a parent should pay for the person's first car? I said no. I said you should work for it. You don't expect so your parents to buy you a car automatically. No. When they asked me that, I said, I know why y'all asked me that. Y'all know it's gonna tell y'all no. I said, well, you need a car. I said, well, that's true. You may need a car, but at the same time, if you work, at least come up with some money and look for something. You ain't got to get no new car. You ain't got to get no car that's in $20,000. No. Either you work for it, and if your parents help you, but I said you have to think, your parents' situation, especially those that I spoke to, they didn't have a two-family household. They had she came from a single parent household. It usually is their mother. And I asked them, I said, well, how old is your mother? She's 50. Boy, I said, okay, she's about closer to my age. I said, no, no. Because they struggling too. I could tell they were struggling. I could tell. I said, what did your mother do? She working at daycare. They ain't making no money. I said, if your mother work at a daycare, she's not getting paid money like that. How you think you're gonna expect your mother to give you a car, buy you a car? I said, I don't have to know money wise about exactly how much they made, but I was like, they don't make no money. Well, she keep telling you I should go back to school. Not even and then they don't even tell them to go to school. They tell them you gotta find you a job. Or if you have a son, most of the time they'll tell them to go in the military. And if they don't even go in the thing about it, some of these kids, these days they so scrawny, skeety looking, no butt, look like Kermit the Frog legs. They don't even work. They barely work. And they hardly could get into the army or service. They're like, "Man, we ain't doing that." They don't want to do nothing. So I was like, y'all ashamed. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourself. You graduated from Stevenson High School, Shiloh High School. What's the other high school around? Um, Stevenson, Shiloh. Well, those are the two high schools that's really close by, depending on what line you cross over. And I tell them, I say, y'all graduated, still walking around with this high school shirt, class of 2020, class of 2019, you know, just walking around here. They working at Amazon, don't get me wrong. But I said, and I keep telling them, why don't you take advantage of the career choice? You could go to school and Amazon at least pay for it. You got to go these debts and stuff. Well, I don't like that school. I said, oh, Lord, Jesus. I said, okay, what do you want to do? They don't know what they want to do. Then they want to fall into the trap of doing Instacart and other DoorDash and gig work. I tell them I did that 4 or 5 years ago, And I said, you can make some good money. But see, I've always been working too. I always had a job. And I would do that on the side, you know. But when I try to speak to some of them, even some of them who's like 23, 24, they just graduated 2 years ago. And they come out their mouth talking about, I want to buy a house. Okay. How much money do you have saved up for a house? Well, I heard that you get some free money for down payment. I said, buying a house is not all that, it's not all cracked up to be. You buy a house, you got to have money for maintenance. Something break, you got to fix it. You got to find someone to fix it. I'm suffering now. I can't find nobody to fix the basic stuff that needs fixing because of so many different things. But I said, shoot. And I've been so tired of working and doing all these gigs, I have to start learning to do basic maintenance myself. I bought all those tools and stuff. I have to start learning it myself. Taking time one of these these times, especially the holidays coming up. I need to just learn. I'm not gonna mess with no electricity. I ain't messing with no plumbing. But these basic things, something that I can learn to do. Only thing is hard when you do it with one person. I did thought I had a reliable person who said it was going to help me with certain things, but after observing some of the dumb stuff they was doing when they was staying with me, I was like, hell to the no. Hell no. Hell no. Cleaning and stuff like that, you can help me do that. But fixing something, no. I just couldn't. I couldn't allow it. It didn't make no sense. Where's that Charlie at? I just couldn't do it because I'm just too micromanaged, and unless I know they're professionals, I don't have to stand up. But then sometimes I have to kind of, they talk about I can do everything and can't do nothing. You call people up, they ain't got no paper, pen, no nothing, nothing in hand. I said, can you show me some previous work? Be late. I said, mm-mm, do it myself. But I tell them all the time. I said, you know what? You should be grateful that you're the age that you are now, where someone could guide you and advise you how to do things, especially when it comes to saving money. I said, well, dang, y'all must be rich because they be eating at that nasty ass foodie place that comes in Amazon and sells people food. And people be all I mean, we work 3 days a week. Some people be going in 3 days a week. 3 days every day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You ain't going into that place. And those stuff ain't cheap either. And not only is it nasty, in my opinion, no taste, blanded food. They standing in line. You only get 30 minutes to eat and you stand in line, and half the time it ain't even that great. I'm like, and Lord knows, don't count the little snack stuff you buy at the machine. The stuff went up in the machine. It used to be what, 85 cents for a bag of chips? Now it's One time I went there, I was like, dang, I want me some chips. I ain't bought no snacks. I ain't bought no apple, no oranges, nothing. And I was like, went to the vending machine and even went on the automatic ones where you could pick up the shelf, but they got you on camera, so you can't just snatch the bag and go and not pay. It'd be right on camera. And I put in $1.25. I was like, what do you think? Give me no Then I pressed it. They didn't even put the price tag on the thing on no more. That thing was like $1.70. That thing was $1.75 for a little bag of chips. I was like, hell no. And then like candy, it'll be a small little bag, a small thing of candy, $1.50. I was like, that thing was $1. Then it went to $1.25. Then it went to $1.25. Now it's $1.75. I said, no. I don't even take my debit card or my Apple Pay and do it on the phone. I was like, nope. I would not. I have not done it. I said, nope. I refuse. I refuse to do it. And those things be $2.50, $3 and stuff. Like, soda. It's not even $1. The thing is like $1.50. I was like, hell no. No. So can you imagine if you work someplace and you buy Chick-fil-A, come by Amazon, they'll sell Chick-fil-A stuff. It's not even the same price if you went to Chick-fil-A directly yourself. $5 for a sandwich. It was $5 a couple of months ago. Ain't no telling how much they want. I was like, nope. Nope. So when I watched that show on YouTube with Caleb Hammer and people was he was going over their checking account and he was going down the list for 1 month and says, what's this? And they was like Amazon, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, but it was naming stuff way down. It wasn't even the end of the month. It was the day. It was the 8th. He's still mentioning Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash. It was like, okay, that's September the 8th. Oh, like he named off 50 rows of all of those things. I was like, he was like, oh my God, and it gave me a headache. I was like, God dang. I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Now I know I know when I worked at the IRS and stuff, and I would work at night and get off at a certain morning, I would go to McDonald's. But see, that was like $4, but I didn't do it every day. I did not do morning and night. I would do it occasionally, but I know I had a, I may have gone overboard, but it would be like $60 or whatever. That even then I'd be like, oh, that's too much. But nope, no way, no how. No way, no how. So when people, they may not have no responsibilities, or they be living in wherever the hell they be living at. I don't know. They spending money like it ain't no tomorrow. And that's just mindlessly eating at fast food places. Don't count the deliveries that Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash and all those other things. Then people on top of that, Amazon, they're talking about, well, I can put it on my credit card and I'll just try to pay the minimum. I'm hell in a damn, it'll be damn hell, 23%. I said, do you know what the interest rate you pay APR? You know what that is? 23%. No, 20 something percent. No, it used to be if you had good credit, they give you interest rate is like 8-10%. Uh-uh. And that's just mindless spending on nothing. That doesn't even include the rent, gas, the things you have to pay. So I don't know what to tell y'all about what you need to do because I can only control me. I can only follow my advice and do my own budget, and I'm not worried about nobody else, no matter how much, you know. I think a lot of times, if people really watch what they spend on stop doing the foolishness, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Even if you have to work, I'd say the purpose of these gig work jobs, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, or whatever, is just a way to supplement yourself. It is not meant to be a full time, my only source of income, because all it takes is for someone to do something dumb or say something, they didn't do this, and then they deactivate you. And then you don't have no other way other than trying to find some other source of ways of doing things. People were so used to, I was watching someone else today. I ain't gonna say who it is. They were doing Spark and they were like, we gonna do 15, we gonna do 2,000, we gonna do 1,500. We gonna do 2,000, and they try to do $2,000 a week doing Spark in Atlanta. I think on the sixth day, this person did make the 2,000 a week with Spark, but I ain't heard nothing else about the other apps that this person used to do. They used to be big on Uber. They were big on Uber, and then they did Lyft. And then they was bad mouthing 4 years ago. I ain't doing no food deliveries. They bad mouth DoorDash and all those and Grubhub about the food deliveries. But the minute they got kicked off of Uber Eats, not Uber, they got kicked off of Uber and Lyft, here they come. Then they were doing the food apps, and then after that, I don't know what happened. It dried up. And people talk about it depends on the market, it depends where you at. Ain't no more bigger than Atlanta being one of the biggest markets that really uses it. Even people who lived in smaller markets. Even when I was looking at Dave Ramsey and these people got, I'm debt free, they was like one of their side gigs they did in addition to a regular good paying job or career, they were doing Uber Eats. If these people had careers and they was like, how much do you make on his salary? Oh, they make 110,000. And they had nurse, engineer, whatever, and and they had great income. And we also had our side hustle. We did Uber Eats and Grubhub. I said, now if they people was making 100,000 plus a year, 80,000 plus a year, whatever, and they chose to do those side gigs, Uber Eats and Grubhub and stuff, and they were doing that so they could be debt free, I would say that's great. Because like today, I listened today. It was this young white guy. He lived in Chicago. He wasn't married. He had a fiance. But he became debt free. He paid off his student loans, even though it wasn't that much. But his student loans was like 70,000. I said, damn, I wish I had. But he was an accountant. He was a CPA. He said, what was your starting income when you became debt free? He said it was between $20,000 and $110,000. I said, why is such a big thing? But then see what he did was when he was in school, I don't know if it was graduate school or undergrad, but he started out like 20,000, whatever, right? Then when he graduated and became a CPA, then he was making six figures in Chicago. He also mentioned he was doing Uber Eats as a side hustle for those couple years, and he became debt free and paid off his student loans, and he paid off whatever consumer debt. And he was a single white guy. He was 20, 24, 26, 20, something like that. I don't know how old he was. So that's what he did. So for the last 3 days, when I was watching Dave Ramsey or the Ramsey Show on YouTube, they had all these people coming up there. They were married couples, single, but most of them were married, or even if they were single, they had very good income. It wasn't no, well, like 15,000 like the other show I watched, even though he's not as polished as the Ramsey Show. Because if these trifling people that was on his show, on the other show I was watching, and they was on Dave Ramsey, they would have been cursed out. He would have been like, he would have cursed them out. Dave Ramsey would have lost all his spirituality and cursed them out if for the stuff they were doing. He would have called him flat out stupid. He would have called those people flat out stupid. I really believe he would. But what I took upon these people on Dave Ramsey that I've been watching for the last few weeks was they did the side hustles. They mentioned it too. Oh, we do Uber Eats and DoorDash. Some did Instacart, whatever the apps they were doing, they did it. But see, the secret was they had other careers that was very good paying high careers. Even if you work and say you make 55, 60,000, 65,000 a year, you could still do a side hustle and use that side hustle to pay down your debts, save for retirement, save whatever, save to buy a house, whatever you want to do. But the whole thing was budgeting. That's the main thing, budget. That's what what made it so. Now, these last 6 years for me, I may not have been a higher income level when I first, was working, with the government, IRS and all that stuff. And I'm not saying I made a whole lot of money either, because I didn't. But I did watch what I spent. Before I bought a house and I lived in apartments, and even before I even had a car, I lived in Buckhead, and that was a great way of saving money because I didn't have no gas, and I didn't have no extra expenses that I had to deal with. And even when I had my car, I didn't drive to Alpharetta every day. I got on the bus when I lived in downtown. I hopped on the bus. I took the bus. So, and then I would, take a rest because I didn't want to drive all the time. I did that. But I was managed to save over $30,000. And then when I wanted to buy a house, I had money. I didn't do the 10%, 20% down payment. I wish I did. If I knew that, I wouldn't have to pay that PMI. It was a lot of things I made mistakes on when it came to buying the house. I didn't know that I could have used my 401k money and took money to put a down payment without being taxed, without no tax implications. And then I wouldn't have bought such a big a home like I did. I would have bought probably a townhome, and I probably would have lived more in town where they had public transportation. But there was a lot of things that I wish I did over. But the thing is that now this house, when I purchased it at 119,000, is now valued at over 280, 285. Even though it was the housing market crash, it ain't going back down to 117,000. Even if the rates go down a little bit, these property houses around here is either going to be in the mid 280s, almost low 300s. Mine is not going to be 300. I'd be shocked. But, I always said that this was going to be an investment property eventually. And it probably will. And it will be once I get certain things fixed up. Once I, do some upgrades. Because this house needs some upgrades. New carpet, new lighting, new light fixtures, upgrade the bathrooms. But I've been watching a lot of things on YouTube on how to do it. But I said, ain't no way. I said I could probably gut the house and, do some little things here and there. But, I'm gonna have to take my time. Paint, um, try to do little things as I go. But it's hard now because there's a lot of these independent contractors and stuff. They like we busy because they all got hired on these but these big companies that's buying up these houses and they hiring these people to fix up the house. But I said, shoot, how long that gonna last? You gonna dry up after a while? Y'all ain't gonna have y'all ain't gonna be busy like that forever. You know, these big companies buying up people houses and not flipping them. They're not even flipping them. Because tomorrow when I drive tomorrow, I'm gonna show y'all some things. The second house in the last less than a month that was upgraded. I thought they bought the house. They didn't buy the house. Then I saw a moving truck 3 days ago. It was a bunch of Mexicans or Hispanic or whatever. I don't know. I know they weren't white, but they was Hispanic. They moving out. I was like, what the hell? I thought they bought this house. The house was remodeled. It was everything. It was so beautiful. I should have bought it. So now they moving out, and I don't know. So now I got to figure out. Well, damn, who's renting this house? Because I know they didn't sell the house because the house was just it was been rented. I was like, what's all these different people being rented? So now let me tell you how I know I'm not going to be worried about the housing crash and everything else. People say, if you sold your house last year, you probably would have got more than, people would have snatched it up for more. But I said, what the hell I'm going to live? I sold this house and say I get a good price for it. Where the hell I'm going to live? Because the price is going to go up. So unless I decide to move back to South Carolina and live in an apartment or move where my mother lived and move over there. But, my mother's still able and she's still working. And unless she becomes able minded and she gets to the point of being 80 something years old and she couldn't, then I will be moving back to South Carolina and living in my mother. But see, at that point, I'll be 60 something years old. I'll be 60 something. I'll be 65. My mother's going to be 80. Yep. 6 or 8. If my mother's 85, I'll be in my 60s. So, by the time that ever happens, my mother probably sell that second house and get more money and move and see if I don't know. She already said something about that doing that one time about selling the second house. I said, you just moved in that house. Then she gonna sell the second house and then move it somewhere else. But I don't blame her. If she decides whatever she decides to do, one day we will have that conversation as to what would she like to do. Because I already said before I turn 60, my plan my plans is to move out of Georgia. If I keep this house, this will be a rental. I'll do as a rental for extra income. I'll do that. The last resort that I would ever do is sell this house. But right now, my plans is to stay here and if God willing, I turn 60. Right before I turn 60, is planning on saving my money. You know, that's gonna be my liquid cash. Not my investment, but I plan on actually saving money, put aside and pay off my student loan debts, pay off this mortgage, which will be paid off by the end of year 31, which is 9 years from now. But hopefully, when I go get a career that pays me 60, 70, 80, 90,000 a year, then it will be sooner. I'll pay I'll pay it off sooner. So that's why I'm looking forward to finally letting go these little rat race jobs that's paying me 25,000, 30,000. You know, 20, you know, um, $20 an hour, $19. I'm beyond that. And I think I settled for so long. I could have um been at a higher income range for me. But in the meantime, if I don't get to a position of making 70, 80, 90, or six figures, I do what I have to do. If I have to hustle, I do it. And I've been doing it for quite a minute. And but one thing is learning to learn how to save. I'm a natural saver. I've always been like that. Me, my cousins, my sisters, we would give out allowance or get out every money we have it, keep it in a jar, kept it in a jar. Then, watch real careful. I've always been doing that. Always been, you know. Now my sister, I don't know what her finances looking like, but I know she keep talking about I have to pay my credit card. I heard that for the last 10 years, if not longer, about these credit cards that she need to pay off. But I don't know. I know my niece and nephew. I know my nephew. I know he's tight with money. He's like me when it comes to being tight. I ain't gonna say he's tight with money. I'm not tight with money, but he knows how to save. And people know how to save. So, but anywho, I've been on here for almost 2 hours, an hour and 47 minutes. Thank y'all for hanging in there and listening to me. Shelly Shell, Brooklyn, Sam Marks. I know you off the bed. Who else is watching? What, maybe Dorian? Somebody. Anywho, so that's all I have to say on that. So let me summarize because I know dang well I did not even talk about what I was going to talk about. Amazon, I just think like these offering of VTOs, even though it's not mandatory that you take it, I just feel that things are slowing down. And if it's anything like what's Walmart and Target and all these stores, they're gonna be closed for Thanksgiving, and they're not buying merchandise like that, for no Black Friday. I think Amazon had their little Black Friday or something. I don't even remember if they had it. I think it's already passed and gone. I didn't notice anything. It seems like things are more higher than it is. There seems to be a lot of junk. So I think they're trying to anticipate that they're going to be these big flux of orders because Walmart is not doing this and Target may not be doing that. But I don't think people are going to be flocking to Amazon to buy whatever Christmas stuff. I think the only people I see walk around overspending money like it's water, it tends to be more people who ain't got no money in the first place, and they're gonna be the main ones that's gonna wait till December 31st. I get my tax money. I get my refund. Don't look for that. Don't be looking for that. You know, tax season is not a payout. That's just if you overpaid in tax, you overpaid in tax. But all these monies that people are used to getting, you know, I'll be more focused on paying down whatever debts. But sometimes people have to do what they need to do, and I guess they figure um, I'm gonna keep using my credit card and keep charging up. But a lot of banks, all that flexibility of credit and all that things, nope, not gonna happen. I'm telling y'all, it ain't gonna happen. If you have some kids, I'll be walking to Walmart. People be like, you know, just walk right by all that junk, all that little crap they be selling. These kids, especially if you're teenagers, you shouldn't even be looking at no damn. You should not even be asking your parents for shit. I want to get this. No. Mm-mm. When I got me, my sisters, and my cousins and stuff, when we got to a certain age, and I'm not talking about no 18, I said when we got to be around teenagers, those gifts started being less and less to the point where don't even look for Christmas gifts. When they got to a teenage age, mm-mm, there was no Christmas. You may have got one thing under the tree, but all that luxury and stuff, nope. And people focus on, see, Christmas is so different now in my family. It was like, dang, my grandfather was the cheerful Christmas one, but for these last several years, there was a bunch of Christmas gifts under the tree. Nope. No, no, no. And I don't know what's going to happen because I don't think people ain't gonna be going crazy. They ain't gonna be going crazy this year. Thanksgiving, take y'all along with me to the Cab Farmers Market where I could buy in some other stores and start buying some things for the holiday meals. I'm not gonna buy no big old turkey or nothing like that. I already got me a big ham that I bought months ago. It's in the freezer. So I said I ain't gotta buy no ham. And I sworn I bought me some turkey wings, but I was like, where do you think turkey? It's probably in the freezer too, because I don't remember eating. I don't remember, matter of fact, I don't remember cooking no turkey wings in these last several months. So I should have some turkey wings in that freezer. If not, I'll buy me some more turkey wings. But it's gonna be interesting. And I'm gonna take y'all along to some of the shopping. I don't want to be one of these doom and gloom about look at the shelves are empty. Da, 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 da. I'm gonna show y'all. I'll go to Aldi's, for little things like canned milk and um, things like that, and then go to the farmers market for turkey wings and beef, stuff like that. But I'm not buying a bunch of food for the holidays. And I may buy some things if I go to my grandparents' house, my grandmother, and we do something for Christmas or Thanksgiving. But I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of. It used to be a whole lot of meals and food and stuff. Mm-mm. It ain't gonna be like that. It ain't gonna be like that. All right, y'all. Let me go. I've been on here longer than I need to, but thanks for the 5 thumbs up. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it. So I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Good night, everyone.